Welcome back. Last day. It's gonna be good. Just warning you. Is anybody nursing any injuries that I should know about right now?
No, I'm just really nauseous.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I'm detoxing.
Belly. Great, well let's talk about that first. Is there anything else? Are you nursing any injuries that hit?
No, I've noticed that it's moved the organs quite a bit. So I don't have a problem with just medicine. And then I did wear my rash guard today because
Yes.
I've been eating a branch.
Yes.
So, yes.
Gotta get used to that and really sore and all those spots that we're hitting over and over again. Okay, so let's talk about the detoxing effect of the swing because it is quite powerful and it's the first thing that people are most surprised about. And I'd say 90% of the people who are going to come in are going to get really nauseous or dizzy or woozy or some version of that. So let's talk about how to handle that and what that looks like. I put this in the email I sent you guys too in the preparation about always having ginger on hand. That's why I had those ginger shots yesterday. And I find it to be incredibly useful, either a ginger tea or a ginger brew or a ginger candy or something to help, also charcoal tablets will help neutralize the toxins. And that's all we really have to do. So I have some charcoal that you can take. I always have a little trick, so it's always good to, some people just won't even say anything and then they'll leave or lay down and I have to go, freak out and I have to go check on them. But if we just give space to have that conversation, then there's usually a remedy. There's usually something that can help. And we are gonna still be ringing out and stirring and doing some flips and things like that. Today is the bringing in the energy back down and landing it gently. So it's not going to be nearly as intense as yesterday, but there is still going to be a lot of squeezing on the body after 12 hours plus in the swing. You're going to notice that the body's probably pretty wrung out. So just take frequent breaks. Allow yourself to, allow yourself to really rest into the poses in a different way and take the time that your body wants to observe and write and all the kind of completion cycles of getting this really ingrained into the, I call it the cellular matrix or the body temple. So we're going to go over the alignment principles and then talk about the AYRx, but let's close our eyes and get really centered and still for a moment. I like sitting cross-legged, but maybe that's not the most comfortable position for your spine. You can do whatever you need to do. Yeah, I am videotaping this, so let's keep the chit-chat to a minimum and just get into the practice. And then we can talk at the end, no problem. But whatever feels comfortable for you, take care of yourself. Feel the ground holding you. And I immediately want you to remember some of the alignment principles from yesterday. So that would look like the spine, the dynamic tension of the spine. So feel your sit bones. Feel gravity doing a great job and anchoring you down. And you're going to keep this anchoring, but feel the buoyancy and the lift that comes from rising through the spine to the crown of the head, like you have a little kite, a silver cord pulling you up. Find the crown of the head, find your plumb line, lift the sternum, feel your chest even here. The swing is so nice because it helps to give you that lift, but we can find it without it. Beautiful. Navel is pulling in and up. We're still rocking the pelvis forward, so this is the most challenging for people in a seated position. Can you still tuck your pubic bone under and at the same time push your tailbone down so you have this bunda or this lock that happens in the lower body that stabilizes the pelvis. And at the same time, feel like you have a little Easter egg underneath your armpit so that you're still lifting up, and at the same time as lifting up, you're pulling the lats down the back, bottom tips of the shoulder blades finding one another. Eyes are still closed. Let the mind start to soften as you're feeling the body matrix and the alignment principles here. Externally rotate the shoulders, okay? Even if you're sitting cross-legged, see if you can internally rotate your thighs, just up at the hip creases. Allow yourself to take a couple deep breaths into the body matrix. Feel yourself grounding down as you rise up. Feel the dynamic tension happening in the body. And what I like to do is start with just one. We're going to do a thriving practice that's part of a meditation. series I do, but it's also an inspiration coming from Tony Robbins. And it's just a 10-minute practice. It's really nice to start with our thriving practice, just to let ourselves get fully present. You can use whatever breath that you want. Typically what I do is I use the breath of fire in order to build some energy in the body. In the morning in particular, that's really good. Today I'm going to have us practice straw breathing because it's like, you know, afternoon and we've already been in our bodies and in our world. So if you feel like you need to energize, you can always do the breath of fire if you know what that is. Otherwise, we're going to focus on this pillar and do some straw breathing up and down the spine for 1 minute. So it's like sipping, it's like you're sipping through a straw through your mouth, and from the tailbone to the crown of the head, you breathe up through that column of light. So it just is an inhale through the mouth with your lips pierced or pinched. And when you get to the crown of the head, blow it back down that central pathway. Feel like you can imagine it like an elevator going down back to the tailbone and then sipping it back in. To the crown of the head and hold, and then exhale, blow it back down the same column. Get your belly involved. Pause at the edges. Just 5 more breaths. Push the air out, and then inhale, pull the air up. Watch the breath with your eyes like you're filling a glass of water. Inhale, fill yourself up. Exhale, watch the air back out to the tailbone. Okay, and then just breathe normally for a few breaths. See how that feels. See if there is more clearance, more cleansing, more space along the central pathway. Maybe roll the neck and shoulders around a little bit. Keep your eyes closed for this practice if you're comfortable with it. Even though your gaze is always slightly up, even when we're out of the swing, we're gonna start to lift our chin and align the spine in a new way. And then I want to just take 3 minutes of gratitude. And the gratitude practice is really simple. We're just gonna, and if you draw a blank, I always bring it back to my breath and my body and my being. So I just repeat in silence over and over again in my head. Thank you, body. Thank you, breath. Thank you, being. And then you can extend that to being thankful for the space, thankful for this time, thankful for this day, thankful for your family, thankful for food, thankful for clothes, whatever. Keep it simple, or it could be extravagant. But let's just spend 3 minutes in gratitude. And just repeat things over and over again if you can't find something new, but try to keep it flowing. Just inside. Keep breathing into the body temple. Keep breathing into the space around you. Exhaling, letting go of any grievances, any holdings, anything that you're not thankful for. Acknowledge it and be willing to forgive it and let it go. Usually when I go into my gratitude practice, I also spend the moment of releasing grievances, because they'll come up. I'll be reminded like, oh, I'm not thankful for this one thing, and that's okay too, because then we get an opportunity to forgive them and release them and let them go if we're ready for that. If you're not ready, just sit with it and let it be present. Bookmark it. Put it on the back shelf for now. Come back into gratitude. Just 1 more minute. Get yourself fully present, landed here. It's also helpful sometimes to put your hand on your heart to get connected to gratitude, if that is helpful to you. Let your hands rest on your heart during this practice. into the practice. And then let's spend 3 minutes imagining ourselves thriving. And this thriving could be visualizing yourself 6 days out, 6 months out, 6 years out. But imagine yourself thriving, thriving in your body, thriving in your business, thriving in your relationships, thriving in your community, thriving on the earth, thriving in nature, thriving in all areas, whether it is close or further away in the timeline. Just let it be a feeling and a visualization. Just imagine your body thriving in the swing, thriving in the practice, thriving with your clients, and thriving with your teachings. Just play in your imagination. Let it be something that you're willing to explore with visualization. And just feel it. Allow your feeling body to take you into those future timelines. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to visualize yourself thriving further out in the timeline than it is in the next 6 days, but still let it be fun, let it be enjoyable. Sunday is my fun day, and it's really important that we do things that bring us joy and make us happy. So, for example, I like to wear glitter on Sundays. Sunday is my glitter day. It makes me happy, it brings me joy. So I always wear glitter on Sundays. You can decide you're gonna wear your jammies on Sundays, or you're just gonna let your hair go on Sundays, or eat your favorite food, or dance or sing, or whatever it is. But let Sunday start to become your fun day, where you can pray and dance and be with people you love, whatever it is. Whatever brings you joy, invite yourself to imagine thriving coming into your life. Some people are so automatically stuck in survival mode that they never even imagine themselves thriving. So give yourself permission to just have 1 more minute, even if it seems totally far out and greater than imagined. You will never need to know how you're going to get there. Just visualize the end point, the end result of thriving. What it feels like, what it sounds like. How's your body feel? How do your emotions feel? What are your thoughts when you're thriving? Particularly in relationship to our practice and your body in the swing. Give yourself permission to really enjoy seeing yourself thriving further down in the timelines. Really letting yourself fly, float, and feel free in your body. And then the last 3 minutes of our practice is a loving practice, and it's really simple. It's not to say we're lacking love, but it's about honoring the fact that we can be loving more. So it could be as simple as I can love my body more, I can love my breath more, I can love my being more. I could love my family more, I could love my animal more, I could love my car more. I could love anything even more, just a little more. I can love the challenges more. I can love the detoxing more. I can love the pain more. Whatever it is, just give it a little bit more love, an extra dose of love. Like a little dropper full of love comes in. And just let it be something that you really enjoy in this moment. Not to say that you're lacking love or you're doing it wrong, but just let yourself love just a little bit more. And let it be funny, let it be a plaything, It's like as simple as I can love my feet more, I can love my hair more, I can love talking to people more, the whole thing. Just anything that you can love a little bit more. You can even love your enemies a little bit more, or your conflict a little bit more, or something that you've been having a challenge with. You could love it just a little bit more. You can love what it's teaching you, how it's helping you grow. And then of course you can love the people in your life and nature and the whole earth just a little bit more. Can you send it more love, an extra dose of love? And so the 3 parts is gratitude, and then thriving, and then love. and they're usually all connected in the heart space. So putting your hands on your heart helps you stay present with the practice. It's also okay to rest them on your belly or on your lap, but wherever you can be comfortable for another full minute of loving more. And there's always room to love just a little more, especially learning something new, especially experiencing the swing, and especially showing up in your body in a new way. You can love that a little bit more. Love the process more. Just see what happens when we give it a little bit more love. What happens to the space around us? What happens to our field, our energy, our thoughts? We're continually releasing our habit to judge or criticize both ourselves and others, and we get into that state of softness and compassion where we can just love it a little bit more. Send it a little bit more love. Usually we can love ourselves even more than we are, and that's where we start, and then we allow ourselves to love others even more, just a little bit more. But it can be a thing, it can be an object, it can be space, it can be the weather, anything. We can love it a little bit more. Beautiful, guys. Let's just bring our hands to prayer at our hearts and just take a moment to seal in all these qualities and aspects. Notice the difference. Notice if you feel more present, if you've landed, if we're all anchored in now to the same field. We're in training with one another by setting our focus. And when you're ready to be receptive to the light, we're just going to go ahead and take a bow and dump anything out that's holding, maybe that stirred up some excess thoughts and things that you haven't been loving. And just under that too. If gratitude brought up grievances, or thriving brought up survival, or not thriving, just honor that as well. And just pay attention to what got stirred. Love that a little bit more too. Thank you, guys. I'm going to index this so we can just, if you like that practice, there's tons of videos online about the thriving practice, but you can watch that 10 minutes and just repeat that either first thing in the morning or last thing at night is a good time to get into thriving.